Welcome to The Switch, podcasts that are wired to online and offline marketing.
Alrighty, welcome to Season 2 of The Switch. We are wired for online and offline marketing. We've been offline for a couple of months.
Too long.
And we are super excited about today's show. I'm Steve Wigley, your host, with Wayne Curtis.
Hey, mate.
And we are. This show is brought to you by Notion Design and Burning Fruit, two awesome companies that you should watch out for.
Yeah, and we've got a special guest today. He's got some really good life experience.
Yeah.
And also he's worked on some amazing movies which will blow people away.
Absolutely.
You know, the funny thing, Steve, is like I've known this guy for probably a good 3 or 4 years now, but. Like, I didn't even know that he was a stuntman. So, like, we were having beers, we're going on fishing trips, and then one day someone says, oh, yeah, it's Nigsy, Nigel, that's his nickname.
Nigel.
He worked on such and such, and I'm like, what? You know, I didn't realise. I didn't put the dots together. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. Welcome along, Nigel. It's great to have you here today.
Welcome, Nigel.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You're kicking off our Season 2, so we're super, super excited to have you on board. Season 1 was all about the business owner. We looked at a number of landscapes where marketing was going. We looked at startups, we looked at education, we looked at some stunning and not so stunning websites.
Yep.
And we had some funny quiz moments, which I'm sure we will continue.
Yeah.
But Season 2, we've taken a different sort of slant to what we're doing. We're looking at specific industries, and today is no different with Nigel being the stuntman. What a pleasure it is to have you here. We've been looking forward to this for a while, Nigel.
Yep.
And we actually can't wait to get to your particular section in the show where we hear about your bio. You must have been into some amazing places, some amazing things, and you must have met some pretty amazing people and done some pretty amazing things in your time. But first up, just to kick us off, just to get to know you a little bit more, you must be a pretty brave chap to be a stuntman.
Yeah, I think most stunt guys are stunt guys before they start. So, like Wahoo over here.
Yeah.
Wakeboarding, fishing, surfing. I mean, you're usually a stunt guy before you start, so you have to have some sort of background.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's cool. And so you must be. You seem a pretty hot chap. I've seen your IMDb page, and to be honest, it was pretty scary. But I've got one question for you before we start. There must be a soft side inside you somewhere, and I just want to know what your favourite romantic comedy is.
Have to be Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love a romantic comedy. My wife is,
Oh, really?
Oh, man, go-to movies, romantic comedies all the way.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Jeez.
Officer and Gentleman, Pretty Woman.
Oh, bit of a theme there.
Notting Hill.
Oh, Notting Hill.
Oh, yeah, Notting Hill's
I
a good
do
one
like
too.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
That is actually a good movie.
Yeah.
You got my soft point straight away.
Yeah.
Nice work, Steve.
Absolutely. All right. And second question. Yeah. And this is outside of obviously what Wayne's going to be asking you. But if you were to talk to a teenage Nigel and give him a little bit of advice.
So, imagine if I was...
If you were talking to your teenage self.
When I was 15?
Yeah, absolutely.
15 is a good age.
And you were to give them a bit of advice on life and what to do with it, what would you say to them?
Well, I would say whatever you do in life, just do it 100%. Whatever you want, if you want to collect bottle tops, or if you want to surf, or you want to, be an accountant, just make sure you give it 100%.
Right.
Yeah, nice.
Whatever you do, whatever makes lights your fire, just make sure 100%. I've got a little boy, and I just said, look, whatever you do in life, whatever makes you happy, but 100%.
How old your boy?
He's 10.
Wow.
And he's a cool little dude too. Great kid.
That's awesome.
That's good advice.
That's really good advice. So the first part of the show is all about latest trends and developments. in your particular industry. I mean, you are in the movie industry, you're in cinema, but specifically about stunts. And we wondered what your opinion is of CGI replacing you as a stuntman.
Well, when it first started coming on board, around about 2000, I reckon about Matrix.
Yeah.
That was the sort of turning point, and everything started getting better.
Yeah.
And we're really scared that this is going to overtake our industry.
Really?
Yeah.
But actually, it's creating employment because a lot of rigging and a lot of new stuff is on wires and all sorts of stuff. So you just put the background. So I recently finished Thor,
Wow.
and I just remember seeing a little shortcut, and I went, I don't recognise any of that sort of stuff. And they just put the background in later on. Like the whole set was with a green screen in the background.
Yeah.
And they just add things.
Yeah. And I mean that is a problem. I think when I'm always looking at a Marvel movie, or a DC movie, I'm not expecting any type of stunts like Spider-Man. I was so disappointed with so much CGI.
They have to get it good, you know.
Absolutely.
You have to get it right, or you just go, oh yeah, that's fake.
Yeah, and that was really obvious in a lot of movies. There was that era. There was a good couple, 3 or 4 years, where every movie that came out was just so over the top CGI, and so obvious that it really turned you off.
Yeah.
So what you're saying now is they're using they're being smarter, and they're using the combination of real live action with the green screen behind, and then they're adding other stuff.
Yeah, they are. I mean, James Bond is a pretty good example because they're trying to keep true to their stunts. You know, a lot of people go and see James Bond because of the stunts, and there are a little bit of green screen, but you know, you can see the how it evolves. Like the last 3 James Bonds were quite hardcore. The stunts, really big stunts, and people like seeing that.
Yeah.
You know, real stunts.
I mean that first Casino Royale stunt where he's jumping off the crane, that was pretty unreal. That parkour.
They used the guy from I think it was France, one of the best parkour guys.
Oh yes, that's right. I remember reading that. Yeah,
he was phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal.
And then that parkour evolution is huge.
Yeah, I was reading a bit of an article about him, and he was scared on that one. He really didn't know whether he was going to pull it off or not. So it's good to.
Well, at least they're pushing the envelope.
They've got a healthy respect for fear, I think.
If the guy that's really, really good at it, like the best in the world, is scared about what he's doing on screen, you got to think, well, they're pushing it. So I suppose that's cool.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
I mean, the practical effects, stunts or non-stunts, you go back to the likes of Star Wars.
Yep.
You know, the original Star Wars, 1977. Everything was practical effects.
Yes.
You know, the run into the Death Star. Everything was really.
Do you remember the first time when you saw Star Wars?
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember I was sitting there with my grandmother, and that what was it?
The Death Star. Yeah, the
came
Death Star.
over, and I was like, oh, just one of those moments you just remember.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
And
the speakers were like jumping, and it was just crackling and rumbling. It was like,
and you never forget that.
No.
Yeah,
you never forget.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
That changed cinema, didn't it? It was
absolutely. But then you get to movies nowadays where I mean, we're talking about the marketing. We know all these films. These films are phenomenally marketed. But some of the films that have the real, true practical stunts, like Mad Max, for example.
Yeah.
I was reading about that and how all the road stunts were real as anything.
Like there's Mad Max 4, I think it's 5, whatever it is made now.
The Fury Road. Oh, the next one's being made.
It is.
Furiosa.
Yeah, Furiosa. That's right. Yeah,
it's made now, and I know there's 100 stunt guys on there.
Yeah,
so I'll be working on there in a couple of months. But it's all about the chase, all about the stunts.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to people who actually actors who actually do their own stunts.
Yep.
The first time it really made an impact with me, where I thought, geez, man, this guy, he was the lead in all his films, and he was doing his own stunts.
What show is this?
Tom Cruise? You talking
No, no,
about Tom Cruise?
I'll get to it.
All right.
But this was a real
Is it a quiz moment?
early. No, not quite. But real early for one of his first films, and this is where he really made his mark, and that was Police Story. With Jackie Chan.
Ah, of course.
And
I worked on Police Story.
did you really?
Yeah. I worked on 2 Jackie Chan movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Police Story was one of them.
hmm
Oh, what was that like?
Cool.
Yeah.
One of my first stunts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What part of the movie was that then?
There was a chase through the Mr. Nice Guy. I worked on too. There was a chase through a shopping centre. I was so green. I didn't know. I was like,
It was a long time
it
ago.
was a long time ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, shot in Melbourne.
And I just got this scene in my mind where they're on a double-story bus.
Yeah.
And because I lived in Hong Kong, you know,
Yeah.
Jackie Chan's a bit of a
Yeah.
hero of mine.
Yeah.
Of course.
And
yeah.
these guys were flying out the top of this bus
Yeah.
and landing on the road, and you did not see any cuts or anything. And oh my god!
I couldn't believe that, like they had this window exploding and they just put these stunt guys next to the window. I was like, man, they had no idea what was
Safety.
going on. The safety.
It's changed a bit, yeah.
We did this huge stunt, and then the Australian guys were talking about it, and Jackie Chan comes up and goes, "Hey guys, that was yesterday. Come on, move on." Like we're like, beating our chest. Like, how good is that? And he goes, "Yeah, let's move on."
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
And how does that compare to people like Tom Cruise when he's doing
Oh,
stunts?
he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah.
Does he go full on or?
Well, he's just so he's intense about everything he does. Like he'll ride a motorbike and he just does it, really well. Or whatever he might do, he just goes to that next level.
Yeah.
He
There's
looks like a
there's-
perfectionist.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
That was the word. There's a few guys like that.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman's like that.
Yeah.
And they just get as good as the stunt guys, even not better by the
Really?
end of production because they're so intense and they're perfectionists.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves was like that too.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
But
amazing.
Tom Cruise was he does most of his own stunts. Yeah.
Fantastic. It's really for Tom Cruise. For me, it's really hard to tell because
Yeah.
he does mix it up a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
But that's good to know. But
Yeah.
going back to the CGI sort of emergence,
Yeah.
I mean CGI is getting better and better.
Yeah. Totally.
If you got things like Unreal Engine, do you know anything
Yes.
about Unreal Engine?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about Unreal
No.
Engine?
No.
Unreal Engine is pretty much their whole reworked graphics engine.
It's
That's
5 now, isn't it?
yeah, Unreal Engine 5,
Yeah.
and it basically
Is that where they do a lot of the editing?
no, this is real time.
Yeah, renders. It's just amazing.
Really?
The power and the speed.
The speed of it, they've just
Wow.
completely recalibrated the whole of the graphics engine, and you no longer have to wait for scenes to render overnight. It
Oh,
renders
wow. It's
on the
instant-
fly,
oh,
Yeah.
wow.
instantaneous.
Yeah.
And the quality of what's coming out now, they've done a few demos. It just keeps better and better. And the best thing is it's open source, so anyone can actually download it, and anyone can put these scenes together.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff that's coming out is just amazing.
Imagine in
And,
5 years' time or 10 years' time.
yeah, imagine that. It's,
Well, it's already happening. I sent you that link the other day with the AI. It's a rendering. So basically, you input the words and the explanation as to what you want the scene to look like, and
Yep.
it creates an illustration out of it. It's rendered through that same Unreal Engine as well.
oh, really?
Yep.
Wow,
So,
okay.
And so it's happening very quickly, and they're just achieving such amazing results. So much so that now, I just saw there's a whole heap of podcasts where people are going, "Oh, much the same you did with CGI and stuntmen. Is it
Yeah.
going to take over our
Yeah.
industry?" Well, you've got illustrators and artists
Yeah,
going,
yeah.
"Well, hang on, how's this going to impact things, and
Yeah,
how's it's going to impact my business
Yeah.
and what I do for a living?" Because the results are amazing. There's it's pretty ordinary too, like what can come out of it, but it's all about the nuances of the language that you input to get what you want to see.
Mm.
And I'm following some guys at the moment, and just what they're producing is
Yeah.
amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
Wow.
It's going to all the industries. When you buy something now, then you can put the background. You can take a photo of your house, and just say if you buy a lounge, oh yeah, how does my lounge look in that background? And you just go boom,
Yep.
straight away.
I was interested. Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I was reading about the Matrix, the bullet scene,
Mhm.
how some of that was green screen, but some of it is actual practical effects as well.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool combination of the two.
And that was just a great bit of branding in itself.
Mm.
And that's something that's actually moved forward. So when
Oh.
you see anyone pulling that move, you know what it was,
You know
what
exactly.
the movie was.
Yeah.
You know, like that whole thing. And then they use that on so many things. They were using it in marketing. They were using it in
Yeah.
advertorials. It's
Yeah.
like really cool.
Absolutely.
So it's sort of, it transcended the movie and then became a part of,
that's
of
a
our
Matrix.
culture. Yeah, yeah. It's so cool.
And some of these movies, I mean, you talk about remembering Star Wars for the first time. I remember seeing Alien for the first time as well. But those moments of pure enjoyment and pure, I suppose, innocence of going into a film,
Yeah.
Blowing your mind.
yeah. just happens less and less these days.
I agree.
The Matrix was one for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, E.T. was when I was a kid. That was pretty amazing. But when I went to see Fury Road, I went in there thinking, "Oh, I've seen the Mad Maxes. What could they do to really impress me?" And man, that was one of those moments.
Yeah,
I swear,
It was
that
intense,
was.
wasn't it?
Oh
It
man,
was.
I don't think I breathed throughout the whole film. But the story was, I mean, it was so simple.
Yeah.
It's so engaging, and it was one of those movies where I thought, what could possibly impress me now? I've seen so many blockbusters.
I think the opening of a movie has to be really important.
Oh, geez,
That has to set the pace.
Yeah,
I mean, I just
absolutely.
watched Tom Gunn only 3. I think you watched it 2 a week ago.
Yeah.
That-
Oh, Maverick.
Yeah, Maverick.
Oh, unreal.
How good was that? If you got to go to the right cinema, and that first scene is like the plane goes over
no.
when that
That's
guy's standing
so
there.
good, yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah, and then I think the soundtrack comes through underneath, doesn't it? And so that's the original. And like I got goosebumps, man. I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. This is really
James
going.
Bond.
Yeah.
Every movie you got to have that opening scene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's a perfect classic case of a brand reboot for
yeah.
Top Gun, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's now the top grossing film in Australia. I think they just said that, or maybe it was in the Cinemax environment. It was a top grossing one.
Yeah.
So like that's pretty amazing. But where's it going to? I had the same feeling with Mad Max and Fury Road. I was like, I'm going to see it. I mean, when I saw Mad Max, I was like just blown away because I'd read the book.
Yeah.
Did you know
And I've
Nige
seen
was on it as well?
No.
No.
But what I'm saying is, like, I read the book, and then all of a sudden you've got Mel Gibson, you've got Australian accents, you've got these crazy stunts and brilliant characters, like the characters that they had. The motorcycle cop that had the voice thing, or Goose. Was it Goose? No, he's from Matt. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, like, and they had the toe cutter, and these really cool guys. So I was like, man, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It was so Australian, which made it for me because
You're talking about number 1 or 2?
The very first one.
The first one, yeah.
It's amazing how much impact it has in people's lives.
Yeah,
It changes people's lives.
Yeah, it does.
It does. They call their kids after
Sprog, wasn't it? I think his kid's name was
and,
Sprog.
everybody talks about the little sayings in the movie.
Yeah.
We still talk about it.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, we do it as a joke
Yeah, I
in the
know.
fishing group. But that was that from Mad Max 2 though, wasn't it? When he goes, okay.
Mad Max 2
How
was
long's it going to
brilliant.
be? 2 minutes? Okay.
Yeah. So good. Yeah, so movies, man, it's like we could talk about it forever.
We could. I mean,
'Cause-
going back to Top Gun.
It creates feelings, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Movies create emotions.
Yeah.
I mean,
We've all been to a lot of movies, I'm sure, recently. You've walked out and you've gone,
So,
it's a little bit,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I would have been happy to see that just on the TV sort of
Yeah.
thing. And others, every now and then you get one and you go, man, that was such good fun.
yeah.
I really
also,
enjoyed
it pumps
that.
you up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rocky films, they pump me up
Oh.
every time.
Even though you know it's going to happen by
Yeah,
number 5, 6,
yeah.
you're still waiting for that soundtrack.
But speaking of, watching it in the cinema or watching it streaming, streaming is on the app, obviously. The US leading the pack. 47% of the population is engaged in streaming media. What are your thoughts on watching stuff on the small screen? Is it good? Is it bad for the industry? Well,
Look, it opens up the doors for a lot of things. I mean, it's like the CGI. It's got its positives and negatives.
Yeah.
You know,
Pros and cons, absolutely. Yeah.
and you just got to have a look at different avenues where, you know, people aren't always going to go to the movies, so they're going to watch the movie at home. You know? Now, it still can't beat going to the cinema.
No.
You know, I heard Baz Luhrmann go, you know, imagine being in a room, 200 people you don't even know, you're sitting there and you just, for 2 hours, you're in, you know, right in that moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
You know,
engrossed,
You know,
completely
it's quite intimate.
immersed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But with the streaming, I mean, it's got its advantages. I mean, what would you think some of the advantages have been with streaming?
Oh, it's just accessibility, I think.
Also, you know, there's a lot of TV shows, you know, TV
Yep.
productions where that creates employment,
Of course.
and then we can you don't go to the movies to see the TV series. You come home and you stream them.
Yeah, and some of the best TV series are streamed.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go
Game
to
of
Netflix.
Thrones.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Game of Thrones is massive.
Yeah.
Saying you've got Prime, you've got Stan, you've got Netflix, you've got a whole heap of others as well.
You can't be scared of anything. You have
nah.
to embrace it, and then you get all the positives out of it.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. There's, like we've said, you know, whenever there's a downturn in the market, it doesn't matter. There's always opportunity. It's just how you look at things.
How you look at things.
How you look
Totally.
at things. Yeah.
Ah, nice one, man.
Yeah.
Roll on to the second part of this show. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
Loving it. Thanks, buddy.